1. So I'm a musician. I'm in a band. And one day we were rehearsing for one of our concerts. We were with lots of other people rehearsing, other bands. The stage was new to all of us. It had just been recently built. One of my friends was leaving the stage at the same time I was. I heard them behind me, so I turned around to tease them and stick my tongue out. When I turned back around, I crashed into the stage curtains. I tried to play it off, but I was stuck in the curtain and couldn't find my way out. Eventually, I managed to wiggle my way out of the curtain, but I had been stuck for a few minutes. Even when I looked behind me, every performer had seen me, and they were all holding back their laughter. Not only that, everyone watching us rehearse also saw my embarrassing moment. Needless to say, I was very careful when we had the actual show, and I will never touch stage curtains again. 2. Today I started writing an overdue paper for English to bolster my grade for the end of the year. I decided to write the paper on assisted suicide, being the touchy yet important subject that it is. So naturally, I hopped on Google to start finding articles on ethics and whatnot, and, on a whim, looked at the related images. I guess Google decided assisted suicide and suicide were the same thing. So I got a few edgy results. One of the pictures was a chubby kid with a bag over his head, which, with my fucked up sense of humor, I found funny. Being the dumbass I am, I thought it'd be a good reaction photo to send friends when I receive cringe-related stuff, so I downloaded it. But what I didn't realize was that I was on a Chromebook, which conveniently decides to use your Google Drive over actually downloading the photo. So now I had this picture of a fat kid killing himself in my official school Drive account. I finally fucking realized this was a really shitty move. So I got on my phone to download the image from my school Drive and succinctly deleted the photo. So that was it, right? Surely this slight mishap had gone unnoticed to the lazy-ass monitors, yeah? Wrong. So fucking wrong. You see, we recently had a suicide at the school, so I suppose the monitors were on extra high alert for anything disconcerting passing through a student's systems. Anyhow, the picture managed to be flagged, and was soon shown to the superintendent, who decided to, instead of just calling my parents or something, notify the goddamn sheriff, and have someone come over and check on me. So there I was in my room, finished with the day and starting to have an end-of-school wank, when my dad bursts in and yells, "Ian, the fucking sheriff's office just called and said they have a deputy coming over. What the fuck did you do?" Naturally, I fucking panicked and started thinking of what I could have done to get in trouble with the law. Did they catch me torrenting Space Jam? Did they see my search history and question my lurking of 4chan? What did I do? Too late to think of that now. I guess I should start thinking of an apology. So I threw on my cat pajamas and walked to the living room, where I tried to explain what I thought I had done, which was correct, before the cop arrived. Too late, though. He was already at the door, radioing dispatch to tell them I hadn't fucking killed myself or anything. So there I was, sitting in my living room with my parents and a policeman in my cat pajamas, with a half-cocked boner, trying to explain my sickeningly incriminating situation. Turns out the main reason they had sent police was they thought the image I downloaded was one I had taken myself, which I was a bit offended by. Don't get me wrong, I totally understand why they were concerned and all, but sending the police over at almost 1 in the morning to make sure I hadn't blown my fucking brains out seemed a bit much. Eventually I managed to explain myself, and tensions lowered enough to start laughing it off. Let me tell you a little something about myself, though. When I'm in a really stressful situation and start freaking out, I tend to find humor in whatever I can to keep myself from popping a blood vessel. The deputy was talking about how he was interested in these kinds of cases, and how he had once talked some guy off a bridge. And my goddamn dumbass decides to butt in and say, "Hey, at least you didn't have to worry about talking me out of a school shooting or something." Yeah. I fucking made a school shooting joke to a cop in the middle of a high-stress, potential suicide police response. So I guess they either understood my desperate attempt at calming the situation or simply didn't process the fucked up joke. And they chuckled a bit. At this point, the cop could tell everything was fine and he started to leave. Once he did, I quickly ran into my room and proceeded to scream into a pillow and kick myself before any conversation between my parents and I could start. So here I am, after my little tantrum, sitting in bed and deciding you guys might find this cringe shit funny. Even better, next year I'll be on suicide watch, just in case, they say, and will probably be considered a fuck-up nutcase by the teachers and staff for the rest of high school. Suffice it to say, I'm never using a school computer again, and I'm sure as hell not talking to any more goddamn school counselors. 3. So let me explain this fuck up. Have you been to jail? It's not fun. Trust me. What did you do? You wonder. I got a DWI. Now, that's fucked up. But the backstory is all in its own. This will be long, but I hope someone can learn from me. I met this girl at my apartment's pool. I was very drunk and yelled out, "I wanna fuck! Who's with me?" After what felt like minutes, a girl approaches me. Now this chick was sober. She said she wanted to. Sober girls don't do that, for the most part, to a random guy they have never met. But she did. We soon became friends with benefits. But the DWI did not happen this night. But is an important part of this tale of despair. Now this chick is nuts. I mean, she thinks that all humans should be like deer or lions. Why? I haven't a fucking clue. So the TIFU happened one late night, St. Patrick's Day. Now, I didn't fully grasp that cops love to patrol the nights of holidays. That, well, a lot of people get drunk, but I digress. I didn't have to work that day or the next day, so I load up on booze and planned on a nice day of relaxation. And putting hours into a video game. Lo and behold, I get a buzz from my phone. It's her. Let's call her M. M texts me saying, "I want you to fuck me like you'd never fucked me before." Oh boy. This is around 12:30 AM the next morning. So I may or may not have had around 14 beers and some pills. I mean, obviously I'm thinking, fuck yes. So text her back telling her I need to shower and clean up. Winky face. I don't head out till over an hour, so I'm assuming it was around 1:40 AM. Driving drunk never came to me that it was a big deal. Shit, half the times I went there to get him, I was pretty much in the bag. I get her and bring her back to my place. Now I need to sidetrack for a bit to explain something to you all. I like sex, but I knew this girl was odd, so for some reason my one head thinks, "Hey, don't bring this girl up to the apartment." I lived with my brother at the time. But my second head said, "Bro, just get me in." So I always had my meetings with her in the back seat of my car, outside of my apartments. Nice and dark parking lots. She always asked to spend the night, and I would lie and say something like, "Yeah, I can't, my dad is spending the night," and she'd say something like, "Well, let me sleep in your closet," like, the fuck. This time, however, I was in a good mood. Beer or the pills? I don't know which one. So I had this planned out. I would for the first time let her sleep with me. It could be a sex-filled night. But when she gets to my place, this girl who's crazy in the head and in bed was, well, not so crazy. We had the dead fish kind of sex. She even slapped me for trying to grab her tit. It was very awkward. I somehow made it and was able to finish. Fuck her pleasure, right? She proceeds to tell me that she wants to go home. I'm thinking in my head, fucking really? The one time I offer you to sleep in my... Fine. I still had a few beers left. I could polish off those and continue my night and leave it at that. The night, however, had different plans for me. It's around 2:50 AM. I'm driving her home. That's when I feel it. Shit, dude, maybe you shouldn't be driving, I thought to myself. Doing everything in my power to keep that fucker I call a car in the center of the lane. ETA 5 minutes to her house. Almost there. I continue in my head. No fuck. A cop pulls behind me, frantically trying to stay calm and tell M to don't turn around in the seat to see him. I turn off onto her street, and he goes straight. Exhale and compose. I drop her off and head back home. I turn right onto the main street I needed to be on, and dread. That same cop was pulling into the street I was leaving. I go right, and fuck. I've never seen someone flip a bitch off so fast in my entire life. Horror filled my life. Just stay calm, man, and drive straight and go the speed limit. Oh no, he's too close. Lights go off. Fuck. I'm praying to God, saying, Lord, I'll never drink and drive again. Just get me out of this. He walks up to my car and asks me what I was doing. I was honest and told him that I had just fucked a girl and dropped her off. He chuckled and asked to see my license and insurance. Asked me to step out of the car. Have you ever had a field sobriety test? These tests are to make it hard for sober people. As a side quest for you readers, stand up on your right foot. Lift your left foot out, hold it as high as you can outright. Have your arms make a T, look up without moving your head. Have someone move a flashlight in your eyes, and they will move it back and forth. You have to look out at that without moving your head. He pulled out his cock of an instrument. Breath analyzer. I'm praying and trying not to cry. I'm sorry, sir, but you are under arrest for being over the legal limit. I blew a .09, the legal limit is .08. The sex wasn't worth it. 4. This happened a couple days ago. So I went to some odd big bargain store out of town, and they had all this Jones soda there. Flavors I've never even seen, like this dark blue bubblegum flavored stuff, and regular cream soda. I was like, hells yes, and bought the aforementioned flavors. Spent $20 on 32 bottles, 16 of each, just because I know I'll probably never go there again. Fast forward. I go home, put 2 bottles in the freezer to make it colder faster. I drank the dark blue one right at the correct time. It was cold, but not frozen. I totally forgot about the clear one. So at like 11 PM, I go to put a white one in because I remember that I still have a case of Jones with a flavor I have no idea if I like or not. I go to put a bottle of clear Jones in. I offered some to my buds, hence why I didn't notice the already missing bottles from the case. And see my frozen one. Yay! So it's quite frozen. I say, fuck it. So I open it. Shit flies everywhere like some weird Jones slushy cannon. Damn near into the bag of new Under Armour shit I bought. No biggie, paper towel, and life is good. There I am, with a 3/4 of a frozen Jones, thirsty. We have sugar-free Fresca. My girlfriend loves that shit. But I figured if I wanted, I could just inject a liter of aspartame into my heart for the same effect as drinking that stuff. So I pondered ways to melt this bottle of Jones. Microwave? Can you microwave glass? Do you want to try microwaving glass? Fuck no. Oven. Put it on broil? Put it on like 200°C, the lowest in our oven? Fuck no, man. That'll probably like melt the bottle. Or make the Jones warm. Then I got it. I grab the bottle, empty whatever bit of it defrosted into a glass, then go to a burner on fairly high. I don't want to dirty a pan, and I don't feel comfortable leaving glass on an open burner. So I just hold the bottle on an angle slightly above the burner. Shit was taking forever. I was trying to move it around and get even melting, so that the frozen parts melt while the liquid parts stay cool. Remember, gotta keep it cold. Priorities, eh? While evaporation and condensation and shit. The outside of the bottle was apparently more slick than I had thought. I drop the bottle. The head slips from my hand, and my brain is instantly, oh, bottle's falling, better catch it before it smashes. So I go and try and grab it. The side of my hand hits the damned burner. My elbow smacked off the handle of the oven. But who cares about bruises? And my brain is then, oh wait, that's right, hot. So my hand flies into the air with my hand with a slight grip of the head of the bottle. Primary mission succeeded. Grab the head of the bottle. Secondary mission of don't fuck up, not so much. So my hand flies up, and the bottle goes with it. Half-melted Jones is flying out. The bottle lands on the edge of the stove, and fucking shatters. So now this side of my hand is burnt, and there's hot-ass broken glass around me. Once again, brain coming into the clutch. Step back! Little did it know, I stepped back into glass. I then slipped on all the fucking Jones spilled all over the floor. I tried getting back up, but all I did was play with the glass pieces all over the floor, getting them stuck in my foot and shit. Luckily, apparently all the commotion awoke my girlfriend, coming out, dazed, wondering what all the noise is, seeing her 6'2" boyfriend on the ground mumbling, "Fuck," while simultaneously holding his hand while trying to look at his foot, with a burner frying Jones soda. The smell was quite terrible. Did I have a couple tears? Yes, that shit frickin' hurt. She asked what happened. Impatience! I shout in a bit of pain. I sounded like a damn madman. She checks out my foot, then helps me into the bathroom. My dad was quite the hypochondriac, and I guess it rubbed off on me. So I keep some chemical shit like isopropyl, which is also useful against acne. It's primary use in our place. After I shave over them and they're bleeding, but that's besides the point. She offered to drive me to the hospital or something, but I honestly didn't feel too bad. I got a pretty nasty burn on my knuckle from work a while ago. It was 2nd degree, according to the doctor, and the one on the side of my hand felt a hell of a lot better than that one did. She cleaned up my foot, took out all the glass that was stuck in there, nothing awful, and felt around, said nothing was deep, so I used about 1.5 boxes of band-aids. Tried using some polysporin on my hand, but that shit hurt, so I said, screw it, let's call it a night. And after a promise that I wouldn't flake on her during the night, we went to bed. When all was said and done, I put a Jones in the fridge, and enough time passes, I drink it. Shit tasted pretty bad. Funnily enough, while she and I were clearing up, I found the cap. Your mind being creative and original will make you quite famous. My creative and original mind hurt quite a bit. Still waiting for the famous part. 5. Backstory. Been dealing with an ant invasion at my home for a while now. So today I grabbed my lunch that my wife had packed me in my lunchbox, drove to work, and tossed in the lunchroom fridge. At break time, I went to get a snack out of it, and noticed a few ants on the outside of it. They appeared to be dead ones, so I brushed them off, ate my snack, then went back to work and thought nothing more of it. So come lunchtime, I'm hungry and ready to dig into my lunchbox. I open it, and actually get a good look inside this time. Oh my god, there's a bunch of dead ants inside, like quite a lot actually. They must have been attracted to the food inside it and gotten in the night before, I thought. Well, at least they are dead, I figured. I don't have a very long lunch and didn't want to clean it out, wasting half my break washing and drying the lunchbox. I'll just take care of it when I get home. The ants didn't get into the food and they aren't going to cause any more problems since, you know, they are dead and all. Now I'm sitting down, eating my lunch for a while, and some movement catches my eye on the table. I look at it, and it's an ant that's quite alive. I squish it, thinking it must have been a lucky survivor. A bit more time goes by and I notice more ants crawling around on my lunchbox. Where did these guys hide? So I open the lid and see ants that were dead starting to come to life and proceed about their ant business. Oh god. Suddenly I realize they weren't killed by the cold, they were just in a sort of cryostasis. I had reanimated them by leaving my box out of the fridge while I was eating. I was now faced with a small army of insects, escaping from the lunchbox and crawling on the table. I try my best to discreetly squish them and sweep them into a napkin to dispose of. I managed to contain the outbreak without drawing notice, luckily, and toss the box back into the fridge to refreeze any remaining ants. Hey everyone, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to 5 True Embarrassing Stories, Episode 9. Well, we've been very fortunate in that I have been able to do, for the most part for the past few months, I've been able to do a TIFU every week, but that was never intended to be a regular segment, so I might try and do something different next week. Not sure what it might be, but I'll do some thinking and see what I can come up with. Now, I'm not going to stop doing the TIFUs, that's not going to happen, but I want to make sure I'm getting the best possible stories for you. So that might mean there's a few weeks where there isn't a TIFU, just to make sure I can be as picky as possible. I've been very lucky in that for the past few weeks I've managed to get some pretty decent stories, but I noticed the more I'm doing it, it's getting a little more difficult, and it's essentially, oh please, 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 let me get what I need, and then a huge sigh of relief when I do, to get it ready for that week's video. And that's just not really a sustainable way to work things. So possibly less of them. Certainly still videos every Saturday, just you might get TIFUs once or twice a month, just so I can make sure I'm putting the best stuff out there. Okay, and with that I think I'm going to head off now, because I want to get my next couple of videos ready. What time is it? Oh, it's 25 to 1 in the morning. And that's actually the best time to record for me, to be honest with you, because beyond occasional parties, my neighbours are fairly quiet, so they're certainly not making noise all through the night. And it's generally just quieter. So it's a better time for me to record. Right, so I'm going to head off now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.